Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi there, traders. Welcome to Admiral Markets. My name is Chris, and this is a live webinar where we're going to take a look specifically at how fractals can be useful with moving averages. All right, but of course, we'll be doing that in live context with live charts and live instruments, forex, CFDs, commodities, and you can, of course, guide me as we go along. You can say, okay, let's take a look at that. We'll start with the most popular ones, though. Before we dive into the charts, please be aware of these two disclaimers. All right, when watching this video, please be aware that it might not be, or webinar, I should say, it might not be suitable for everyone. Therefore, please take a look at admiralmarketsglobal.com, select your country of residence, and contact the appropriate entity to find out if it is suitable for you. And second of all, please note that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. This webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. By continuing watching this webinar, you agree with this disclaimer and you are aware of the risk involved when trading. All right, so as I said, this webinar is being held and made possible by Admiral Markets. So please take a look at admiralmarkets.com for more info about that. You can, of course, see education and you can register for more webinars. But that's not it. A lot of extra tools. You know, we did a lot of work here to make trading simpler to access, but also simpler to understand, from these courses here in education to analytics to plugins, extra plugins such as the MetaTrader Supreme Edition, etc. And of course, then you can check out basic info such as how to start trading and what kind of instruments can be traded. I'm now looking at the market heat map and just curious, you know, what are the bigger movers here in the market? As you can see, definitely on the downside, cryptos at this moment, right? On the upside, some CFDs, forex, a little bit imbalanced. I mean, you know, Nanette had some setups for the intraday trading that he does, quite a few already. But for myself, from a swing trading point of view, it's been a quiet week so far. It's just not as well set up as last week, where I thought there were really some very good setups. I mean, there were only winners for me from a swing point of view. This week, I just opened to today, so a very late start for me this week. Just the market doesn't look that appealing to me as it did last week. But you know, things could change. Of course, we're going to take a look and see how that might develop. But this gives you a little bit of an indication that the market is indeed not moving too much, right? Because look, a lot of pairs are around that zero mark. Now that could change. I'm just showing you indeed that maybe that's why I don't see that many swing trades. I don't know, but maybe it's me. I don't know. CAD is the bigger mover at the moment. Pound is third, and otherwise nothing that's new in this table. But it's interesting to take a look at these heat maps, I should say, and get sometimes more info about what kind of range and what movement we can see in the market. All right, so that's just one of the things, one of the links that are very useful. But with no longer ado, let's take a look at those charts. One second. There we go. All right, so euro dollar. I was waiting for a bigger consolidation. Now, I did know that the 122 level could be a bouncing spot, right? It was either a 23.6 fib or it was a 38.2 fib. So it was a zone that could see a bounce. I was hesitant because I thought that it could be a bigger correction. It did actually make a higher high right here, but that higher high was very shallow. Not much, difference between this high and this high. And price went right straight back to that same zone. So it's not necessarily, I think, it was a big trade in terms of pips, 120, not bad. So anyone who did take it in this zone got some space to take to the upside. I was still looking for a bigger consolidation, and I think that indeed has proven true. You can see that price is basically right back as where it was. So it does seem to me that price is making kind of an expanded correction at this point. And I think there are probably still two scenarios to look at for the moment. One is a deeper retracement, and that would be interesting, but because I think the price will bounce at the 38 or 50 fib, and I would be interested to take a look at candlestick patterns that might arrive in these support zones. So this is definitely something that's on my mind, and if it does get there, I would be interested in seeing if there are any confirmation signals. Once again, candlestick patterns or candles that seem interesting to me to trade it to the upside. Probably 4-hour chart. All right. Now, second of all, if price goes sideways for longer, all right, then it's probably setting itself up. There's probably a consolidation zone that's being made, and that consolidation zone will probably break to the upside. Why? Because we have momentum here, then we have sideways, and typically that would break to the upside. And we could say as a general rule of thumb that this pole will be equal to this pole. So 360 pips measured from this bottom would be about 125.50, right? So we got 125 round level, of course, just below that. So probably 125 is not a bad target to think about. And it doesn't have to move up to 125 this week, and even next week. It could take its time. But that's the, let's say, ultimate target for the moment. And it could even expand before that. It's all about probability, but that seems like a intermediate target that is on the table from my point of view. So with that said, let me just quickly take a look at how the question is how long, if it goes sideways like this, how long would that last? And that is a little bit of a tricky question, unfortunately. And I wish I would have a good answer for that. But it might take, today is Wednesday, let me quickly take a look again what we could expect regarding the news. 1 second. Consolidation zones are a little bit difficult sometimes to read, especially about the length of it. All right, well, it could be, let me say it this way, it could be tomorrow, but it could, tomorrow is possible. Tomorrow, that's still kind of, if I think the clues that I'm looking for are probably going to be momentum and a flag like this on the hourly chart. So for the moment, 4-hour chart I'm using for as the time frame for measuring deeper retracements. If it doesn't do that, then for breakouts, I'll probably use 1-hour chart. I want to see upside, I want to see a flag, and I want to see a breakout. So this is my game plan, my trading plan for the moment. And that's what I said yesterday too. So in that regard, it didn't change much. We didn't get the flag. We got it up and down. So it's like a mountain, as you can see. So I really want to see that pattern to get a little bit more confirmation. Pound dollar probably the same. It's same kind of up and down. All right. So pretty much the same scenario. Just the pound dollar is at stronger resistance in my view because of the 138, very strong bottom on the weekly chart. So that's something to be careful of. Therefore, like the euro dollar a little bit more. Dollar yen, we spoke about that one last week in the sense that, sorry, not last week, yesterday, saying that here, like, okay, if price breaks through this resistance trend line like this, right, then there could be a bigger breakout. But probably it will make a slightly lower low. As soon as it breaks that lower low, just by a little bit, it probably bounce because of the S1, the Keltner, the 110 round level, and that's what it did. Made a little bit of a lower low, and boom, it went up good momentum and now making a flag. So this looks like a potential break right now here, and a good candle that could break above, I would say, this trend line might be an interesting continuation trade. All right, a candle that could pierce through that, that could be a breakout to the upside. So the upside could last maybe to 111.50, 111.75, where there's a weekly pivot point. There are tops here on the left, and who knows, it could go beyond that, but that would be a reasonably conservative target for the moment. Uh, let's see why I didn't start the fib on 9th of January. All right. Yes, there is a reason for that actually. That's because I still think that this could be a wave 4. So I'm putting the fib on a wave 3. That wave 3 could be here. Sorry. That could be till this top or this top. And the start of wave 3 could be this bottom or this bottom. And it's not this bottom if it is a wave 4. So I believe wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. So I'm using this one. Or, if I still think that this is a smaller wave 3, then I would even use this one. It has to do with what grade or type of wave 3 I think it is. All right, so this would be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why I'm using either this bottom or this bottom, not this one, because I don't think that it has finished the upside yet. No problem. Great, that's all clear. So yeah, Ozzy yesterday already said it, like it'll probably make that small little spike to the upside, probably to hit that resistance zone a little bit more. Any reversal candles up in here in these weekly pivot points, looking very interesting. If there are any bearish pin bars, same story as yesterday, I think, for the moment. So I don't think that otherwise there's anything interesting on the Aussie. And the Kiwi, New Zealand USD, had a bearish day yesterday. If today's candle is again bearish, preferably if it breaks below this low, that could also indicate retracement time. All right, so that's still on the table in my view. Dollar CAD, is driven by the news event that just happened with regard to the Bank of Canada monetary policy report, rate statement, interest rate level or overnight rate as they call it, and I think press conference is still coming up yet. Now, I was saying yesterday that I'm leaning towards an ABC and therefore wouldn't like to trade it to the downside. But if it breaks through these resistances, then it could be a good upside, right? So we had upside, but it was very volatile because of that news event, right? Because look at this, we had first basically, it looks like we had upside, then downside, then upside, then flat. So news event obviously creating some volatility, but if there is a candle like this, it's a pretty good candlestick pattern in the sense it's like it's an outside candle. And if it does close bullish, it doesn't close like a doji, it could be the signal for a bigger upside. A little bit difficult candle to trade though. Euro yen already said yesterday, it seems like it's stuck between resistance and support, and that is how it's behaving. That's why I think I'm struggling to find some trades this week, because it seems like everything is just not like is in a pause, So and I'm really just waiting for the higher probability setups, and that could vary. Last week, I think traded 8 or 10 high probability setups. This week found a little, so it can vary. But this is also like tough spot because it's just right at this resistance. It's right at the support. I did say that upside seemed more likely due to the euro dollar and the dollar yen. And it probably is true because it's making a consolidation at the moment. So if it breaks this consolidation, we have momentum before it. So it would make sense. So a breakout here probably the most interesting for the moment. With regard to the euro dollar, if it breaks down, wave 4 is actually wave 5. Wave 4 is actually wave 5. This is wave 5. It's possible indeed, if that's what you mean. And follows an ABC correction low. Yeah, it's possible that this could be still an ABC like this indeed. So that's why I would like to trade it if it reaches these fibs and bounces at these fibs. But it doesn't have to be. It could be that this is an ABC2 and that price is ready for an upside breakout tomorrow. So that's why I'm really letting kind of like price action, waiting for price action to give me more info for whether it's going to be a breakout to the upside or if price is going to make a deeper retracement. That's my 2 cents. I'm not sure if that kind of discusses your comment properly or not, but let me know if it doesn't. All right, euro pound really in the middle of nowhere for the moment, so it doesn't look too interesting. Euro odd. A little bit tricky. It is making a potential. Wait, let me renew this template a little bit. Let me renew this template. So there we go. Broke this flag. Therefore was thinking a little bit of a deeper correction, but it's moving up already. So it's a little bit difficult one this moment. Let me count the days here. It still probably seems likely that price might make a little bit deeper retracement at this moment. Sorry. It's a tricky spot. Yesterday I was looking for a continuation higher, then it breaks the flag. But I think that the flag of the break shouldn't be too underplayed either, underestimated. So I would not be looking for upside until it really breaks above this flag. Then that could be a good breakout. Otherwise, I think that this could still find resistance here for one more downside. So and then upside, right? Either at the 68, 1.8 or 78.6 fib, there could be bigger upside. This is my vision at the moment. Will we see candlestick patterns here that confirm the downside, or will we see breakout? That I think will be the question for the moment. Alrighty, so Euro New Zealand uh, could be the same thing. It might make an ABC2, in fact. It's looking a little bit different because it's still at support, so I think that could be an A2, by the way. It could be A, B, C. So that is something that is threatening these, or threatening is maybe not the right word, but there's a potential for these. I'm really careful. I think that these could be interesting pairs to keep an eye on. But before I trade it, I would have to see price maybe. Let me check 1 second. 50 fib perhaps, or breakout, flag, continuation. And this is where fractals maybe are handy, are useful, because when you have fractals emerging that are above the moving averages like this, it's typically a good base for follow through. So if that happens, if we get moving average, if we get fractals in this area, that could be a good confirmation signal. Look here, for instance, fractals switch from below, sorry, from above or at the 144 EMA to below them, and that's where we see downtrend. Here too, fractals switch from below to above, uptrend continues. Here, fractals below to above, so they not only the price relationship towards the moving averages, but the fractal relationship to the moving averages also give a lot of info about the trend. So you can still see fractals at moving averages, and downtrend still continues. So that could be useful info if we get price that breaks, pulls back, and continues in fractals here. Already. Otherwise, for the moment, pound out and pound New Zealand maybe are looking okay for breakouts to the upside. So it would depend a bit on this 4-hour candle. Let me use my outer template. Could be an interesting spot for the pound odd. That does make me a little bit worried about my analysis on the euro odd, because when we take a look at the euro pound is moving lower. I still think a break of the flag is better on the euro odd, but the pound odd is looking like it's just earlier, it's just ready to break. It seems ready to break sooner. But let's see how this responds here. I would like to see a pretty good candle. And a pretty good candle would have to be, reaching 173.60 probably before I'm interested. A high at 173.60 or higher, I think. Let me check here something. It's riding these moving averages. Just don't see any particular entry at this moment. If there is a flag like this, and a breakout, that could look good. Flag and breakout, all right? Otherwise, let's see. Let's take a look at DAX, something different. It's a little bit difficult structure at this moment. It is failing to break this high, so 88.6 fib. A little bit messy, these moving averages. Mm. It's a little bit choppy, but I think ultimately leaning towards bearishness. Break, pullback, could be continue. Five candles not breaking this high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty strong candle yesterday. So it might be best to think downside. I think breakout candle wouldn't hurt. Still on 4-hour chart. So one that could maybe push below this low like this. And on the lower time frame, maybe 30-minute chart, small little flag and continue. That could be a key kind of confirmation to expect more downside. All right, because a flag like that indicates that the breakout is not running into some false break, not running into any problems. All right, with regard to gold, all right. Let's see. Well, still at the same spot. Sorry, still at the same spot. Still at this R1, and still at the trend line. So it is having some struggle there, and I do expect it to move lower from that spot. All right, so still at a resistance spot. Keltner 2, which is part of the Supreme Edition plugin, by the way. So looking pretty tough. I would still be expecting a turn down, all right, and then maybe even a break down to this support zone in here, and then a bounce. That's still the same story, still the same analysis, but price is not really responding to that. It is going sideways for the moment, so it might pop up one more time to hit maybe 1350 and then bounce. If it does break, of course, then something else is going on logically. All right, so but a little bit of a push up to R1, R2, I think is still running into a very bearish zone. Alrighty, Dow Jones 30 is made some downside, made some up, so looking like a little bit of a bigger correction. For the moment, this is probably retracement within the uptrend, or this is what has happened the last couple of years at least. I think that putting a fib on this retracement like this, and these could be bouncing spots for more upside again. Pivot point S1, minus 272 target, minus 61.8 target, and these tops here. All right. Otherwise, odd yen, New Zealand yen still moving slowly. New Zealand inching higher. Odd yen, sorry. So you can see how slow those are. Was indeed thinking about a breakout here, but didn't take it because of the slowness of this pair. And New Zealand yen also. And AUD yen a little bit better than New Zealand yen, but not by much. What we can take a look at still at S&P 500. Facebook, Amazon, and Facebook and Amazon are making some correction here to the downside. We talked about that yesterday. That let's see, what levels did we have in mind? That could be good retracements. I forgot on Amazon. Probably the broken top. Facebook, I was saying 23 or 38.2 fib. Let's see if those are bouncing spots or not. I wanted to take a quick look at S&P 500 though, and then there we go. Could be the same thing. Could be the same thing. If it does make a zigzag, these targets are bouncing spots. 272 target, minus 61.8 target, even minus 100 are bouncing spots. And or alternatively, if it makes a flag like this or a triangle, then it's probably setting itself up for more upside. All right, so quick recap here. We went through some non-Forex charts. With regard to Forex, yeah, I am probably leaning towards, oh, look at this, pound dollar is moving up again. It's challenging 138.50. That's interesting. Probably leaning towards pound odd and keeping an eye on euro odd and euro New Zealand and generally speaking euro dollar, I think, and dollar yen. And those are, I think, at this moment, the pairs that I think are most interesting, and euro yen. So euro dollar, dollar yen, euro yen, pound odd, euro New Zealand, probably at this moment. And specifically for the euro dollar, looking for a pattern breakout or a deeper retracement bounce. Dollar yen looking for a breakout to the upside. For euro yen, looking for a breakout to the upside. For euro odd, basically, it, in my opinion, could be a break or a bounce and then bounce. In Euro New Zealand, no, yes, Euro New Zealand, yes, indeed. It could be a bounce deeper fib, or if there is a pattern, then a breakout, and the pound odd could be an immediate breakout, in my view. So these are the things that I'm kind of like keeping an eye out for the moment. I actually didn't look at some pairs that forgot, like CAD yen, for instance. Those could sometimes be interesting. So we can quickly take a look at that. If you have any particular instruments or pairs in mind that you would like to take a look at right now, just let me know. This was a quick summary of what I'm keeping an eye on. It's from a swing point of view, I think a little bit tricky week. Not as good as last week, but the end of the week things can loosen up sometimes from a swing point of view. So let's see. Just taking a quick look at some of these more exotic crosses. I don't see the CAD yet. Let me add that quickly. Maybe missed that. There we go, CAD yen. Could be interesting to keep an eye on this one because of the flag that we see here. But the CAD is a little bit, because of the press conference coming up, maybe later today, maybe in the New York session afternoon, depending on how this candle closes or the next candle and how this volatility settles down. But yes, could it be a breakout? Something that I'll keep an eye on, indeed. So could be something of interest. Alrighty, I don't see any questions. Please take a look for next webinars at admiralmarkets.com. Education, webinars, real-time trading ideas in the morning, Nenad and I in the afternoon on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and then Thursday with regard to trading. Thursday we take a look at a deeper view at an educational topic. This week our topic is drawing and trading with trend lines. We're both fans of trend lines, so I think you're going to enjoy that. We, enjoy trading with trend lines. We enjoy using trend lines, so I think that this will be valuable to take a quick look at how we work with trend lines. So that's tomorrow, 4 p.m. GMT time. All right. Otherwise, next week we're back. Pretty much the same pattern, just maybe some different topics. But otherwise, I think it's kind of the same vibe with real-time trading ideas, live trading webinars, and a Thursday educational webinar. And of course, in the meantime, feel free to check out analytics, technical wave analysis, for instance. If you're looking to trade this, how to trade trend lines, all right, I'll send you the link right now. There you go. That's the link. Or you can go to Education Forex to see if the webinars and then just find this topic, all right? But the link is there in the chat box. If you're looking at the webinar recording, you wouldn't see that. You would just have to follow this link here at the top. Or just go to Education Forex to see if the webinars and look for the newest webinar. Of course, it depends when you're looking at it. The webinar is tomorrow, so if you're watching this recording, obviously 1 week later, there are going to be new webinars visible and with different names. Feel free to choose the ones that you like, but the good news is that these webinars are recorded. You can also go to YouTube channel and find the past webinars that are uploaded there. So if you're watching the recording later on and you're interested in some of these names, you can always look at YouTube channel for those webinars. And they've been recorded or converted into videos. All right, well, that wraps it up for today. Oh, no, I wanted to say one more thing if you have a few minutes. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about these fractals and how they help with understanding the flow. So once you get fractals above the long-term moving average, for instance, like here you have fractals that are below it, but then you get fractals above it. That's often a good indication the price will continue with that particular direction. It's not a guarantee, but it's one factor that's important, right? So, that helps even with this CAD yen, as you can see. Now here you get a range, so you got to be careful of that. But for instance, here you have fractals below it, and then you get fractals above it, right? That's the switch from down to uptrend. And here too, first above, then down, and that's how you can recognize how the trend has really switched. Here below it, then above it, and boy, this one of course moves a lot, very far, right? And all these fractals stay above the 144. These fractals stay above the 21 EMA, right? So the relationship of fractals towards the moving averages gives us a lot of info too about the trend and how strong the trend is. And I mean, these are my own special custom designed fractals, but feel free to obviously use the standard ones, and that will also help with this particular analysis. Right? Fractals, go to Bill Williams, and then click on fractals. And every time price retraces, hits the 21 EMA, and there's a fractal 21 EMA, it's a pretty sturdy retracement. Sometimes you get fractals that are above it or away from it. Those are a little bit less secure retracements. Here you got good retracements, good fractals in those 21 EMAs, and you can see how that nicely acts as resistance. All right. So yeah, that's just a quick note on these fractals. I think you see intuitively how that flows, right? And how you can use that info. Here's some past examples. Maybe we can take a look at one future example. Let me quickly change the template here. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Excuse me. So if we get a fractal here, two fractals, it is becoming maybe more likely that the price will make a consolidation zone, and two or three, and once that happens, there's a good chance of a breakout to the upside. So it is starting to look like price will be respecting these 21 EMAs rather than maybe breaking through it. But if price does poke through it, I think it's still a bouncing spot. If it doesn't, then it could be setting itself up for a breakout. And these fractals at the 21 EMA after strong momentum are, it's an extra factor, it's extra analysis that is making that more likely. All right, so yeah, that's a quick note on that. If you're interested in getting this fractal, feel free to reach out to me after this webinar. You will get a feedback form, and you can send an email like that, and I will send it to you. And if you're watching the recording, then I guess you could reach out like this very quickly. Don't want to hold you up here, but there you go. So feel free to pause this video then. I mean, it's a live recording, but later on video, if you're interested in this particular fractal indicator. All right. So that's it. Also, feel free to get more material, more indicators, more tools from the MetaTrader Supreme Edition. 60 extra features, and there are going to be definitely some, and probably more than some, that you like and that are useful for your trading. So feel free to download that for free at MetaTrader Supreme Edition here, platforms, right here, second tab. And yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on these setups. Let's see if they materialize as I expect. If anything, hopefully something interesting will pop up the next 2 days. All right, from a swing point of view, but from an intraday point of view, there could have been maybe some setups already, like here, this small upside, for instance. Then it had already a couple of those, but let's see if the 4-hour charts also get a little bit more aligned. That's it for now. Wish you all good trading. Hope to see you in the webinar tomorrow, and cheers.